A state of emergency.
State of emergency.
The governor has declared a state of emergency ahead of the upcoming fire season.
Yes, there are a lot of fires in California, and yes, they are costly. Unfortunately, they can also be deadly.
But we must stand with victims and learn from mistakes.
But before there's a spark, a downed power line, or a freak accident, decades of laws, policies, and actions, and sometimes inaction, set the course for how catastrophic the state's wildfires will be. So, what will it take to fireproof California, and are we willing to do it?
Get out your checkbook and your credit cards and prepare yourself for the sight of firefighters setting forest fires and crews cutting down millions of trees across California, because that's what it's going to take.
We have to change the way we think about fire, seeing it not as a destructive force but as a tool, sort of like fighting fire with fire. And that means setting controlled burns. These are carefully managed small fires that allow foresters to herd flames where they want to remove nature's fuels. We all also need to accept the smoke and risks that come with prescribed fires. Here's a final thought. The all-out tree culling will produce an enormous amount of lumber in a state that already has a timber industry that's a skeleton of its former self. Those small diameter trees have very little commercial appeal.
What's the best guarantee to safeguard homes from being engulfed by forest fires? How about not building subdivisions in the middle of forests to begin with? That'll be a tough nut to crack.
California could adopt Australia's approach. That teaches rural homeowners to fireproof their homes and when fire does come, to defend their property on their own. It's been very effective in Australia, but it's not likely to go over well in California, where taxpayers tend to expect firefighters at the bottom of their driveways. Forested mountainsides are one of California's iconic landscapes, enticing some people to pay a premium to live among beautiful stands of trees. When those homeowners don't remove trees, however, it becomes a problem. It's sometimes difficult to understand how cutting trees can make a forest more healthy, and harder to take when safety measures mean eliminating the aesthetic beauty. A further tension falls on state officials who restrict where and how to build, mandating that new homes meet fireproofing standards. Yes, those building codes are effective, but meeting them is costly. Officials estimate that 1 in 10 California fires are caused by electric utility equipment. Do we really want to make hundreds of thousands of miles of transmission lines more fire secure? We have to bury them in the ground. That's a great idea in theory, which is where that notion is likely to remain. Relocating power lines is hugely expensive and not always practical.
Still, the state is requiring California's big utilities to prepare comprehensive fire mitigation plans. Among their strategies, clear trees and brush away from transmission lines and swap out wooden power poles for metal ones.
All that work will come at a price to customers. Southern California Edison estimates making its equipment more fire resistant will cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's just one utility company. What does California's tech-savvy new governor have in mind to attack the problem? Throw the future at it. Governor Gavin Newsom proposes deploying a network of remote cameras to detect backcountry fires while they are still small and manageable. He wants weather stations and sophisticated monitoring during times of high fire risk, which can provide officials early warning. Like everything else, it comes at a cost. But when it comes to fire prevention, you get what you pay for. Learn more about California wildfires at calmatters.org. I'm Julie Cart, environment reporter for CalMatters.